How's it going, guys? My name is Wilson. With the Bucks-Nets series matchup in progress in the semis, many truly believe this matchup is the real NBA Finals and will decide the NBA champions. But over the first two games, the Nets absolutely destroyed, abused, annihilated, and humiliated Milwaukee in every way imaginable, and Brooklyn doesn't even seem close so far. But one of the biggest concerns for Brooklyn, how will James Harden's hamstring hold up? Will he be 100% in the coming games? The Nets, perhaps they can afford to rest him, but come the conference finals with a matchup potentially against the Sixers, and in the Western Conference, Utah Clippers. I mean, who knows? Anything can happen. But with that said, today, let's take a look at 6 NBA semifinal series that was actually more like the real NBA Finals. Starting with 1992, the New York Knicks versus the Chicago Bulls. Of course, we remember MJ's epic performance, the short game, and getting the best of Drexler and the Blazers in those finals. But the biggest challenge during those Bulls championship runs, the tough-grinded, physical-hungry New York Knicks. Although the Knicks won 51 games in the regular season, the 4 seed, led by prime Patrick Ewing, 24-11, 3 blocks a game, Mark Jackson, 11 a game, 9 assists, the tough Xavier McDaniel, 14 points, Gerald Wilkins, the very physical Charles Oakley and Anthony Mason, alongside backcourt John Starks off the bench, 14 a game, Greg Anthony and Kiki Vandeweghe, coached by Pat Riley. I do believe this Knicks squad would have beaten Portland in a very close 7-game series. After knocking off the Bad Boys in round 1, every possession was a physical battle. Jordan looking to prove his legacy statement and become greater than Bird and Magic, 2 legends from the past decade that elevated the game, while New York looked to make its first conference finals appearance in 18 years. The Knicks extremely physical from the start. First 6 games tallied up to 150 fouls, 5 flagrants. Knicks shocked the world game 1, winning 94-89. Ewing's 34 and 16 masterpiece, 6 block shots. Jordan only 31. In an important game 2, MJ's game high 27, Ewing had 16, Bulls won 86-78. Despite Pippen playing awful, going 2 of 12, 6 points, Chicago struck back in New York. MJ's 32 plus Pippen's 26. Nobody outside of Ewing for the Knicks scored more than 13. No team scored above 94 the first 4 games. Chicago shot an abysmal 17 of 29 from the line the 4th game. Pippen 4 of 13 from the field. Struggled to score again in the 5th game, 10 points. But Jordan a terrific 37 points. Xavier McDaniel 26 of his own. Ewing just 14. The final minute, Bulls up 3. MJ drained the dagger with 36 ticks left, plus the foul. Bulls won the first 3 games of the series by 8. Knicks responded game 6 with a staggering 100-86 win. Ewing and McDaniel combined for 51. Jordan and Pippen just 39 on 14 of 40 shooting. That's how imposing New York's defense was. The only second round series that went 7 games under Jordan's championship years. Game 7 with prime MJ though. The GOAT did GOAT things. Chicago outscored New York by 24 in the second half. MJ a 42.6 rebound, 4 assists, 2 steal, 3 block masterpiece. Did everything you could have possibly asked of him. Going at it with McDaniel with the trash talk. Xavier just 14 in the game. New York played one of the best defenses any teams could have possibly done on MJ. Averaged 31.3 points, 5.7 rebounds, over a block. Pippen just 16 a game on 40% shooting. Ewing 22-11. McDaniel 18.5 points. Got the best of Scotty. This Knicks team with McDaniel arguably better than the 93 or 94 New York roster, since the following year Charles Smith was a downgrade from Xavier. 1995 Rockets Suns. I could have mentioned these 2 same teams the previous year when they met in the semis. Both times the Suns had a comfortable lead and blew it. The previous season, MVP Hakeem versus the MVP from 2 years ago, Charles Barkley, both from the same draft class going at it. Houston the 6th seed, a Clyde Drexler, while Barkley's 59-win Suns in the regular season, the 2nd seed only behind 62-win San Antonio. A matchup of Kenny Smith, Drexler, Robert Horry, Pete Chilcutt, Dream, Sam Cassell, and Ellie off the bench. Against prime Kevin Johnson, Wesley Person, AC Green, Barkley, Joe Klein, Dan Marley, Wayman Tisdale, and Danny Ainge off the bench. Both veteran teams. Phoenix a 130-108 dominant game 1 win. Green, KJ, and Barkley over 20 each. Phoenix again dominated game 2, won by 24. Barkley 30 and KJ 29. But Houston responded, winning by 33 in game 3, while Dream outscored Chuck, KJ, and Green combined. Barkley arguably his worst game of his playoff career, 0 of 10 shooting shooting, 5 points. Charles averaged 31.4 points his first 5 playoff games before that one. To Charles's point, the Suns did bounce back, had 26 and 9 the 4th game despite Dream's 38. Kevin Johnson dropped 43 with 9 assists, 18 of 24 shooting. With the defending champs backs against the ropes, Game 5 on the road, Barkley struggled 8 of 22 in the closeout, Dream 31, Drexler only 4 points on all of 6 shooting. Imagine how badly he'd be criticized if Houston lost the series. After Barkley went 1 of 2 from the line, Dream tied the game with a turnaround jumper with 8 ticks left. Wesley Person, the golden opportunity to advance and clinch the series, perhaps the one shot that still haunts the Suns franchise they wish they could have back. Game 6 decisive win for the Rockets forced to Game 7. Houston held to 13 points in the first. Kevin Johnson, a monster 46-point Game 7 alongside 10 assists, 21 of 22 from the line, fearless. Barkley banged up, had 18 points, 23 boards, a sore knee, needed treatment in the second quarter. Charles felt extra pain during Game 6, which wouldn't have happened if Phoenix was able to close out Game 5. Dream and Drexler each scored 29. Gasol, a big 18 points. Marley, no longer the player he once was. Ellie's kiss of death dagger gave the Rockets the win for the series. Dream averaged 29.6 points, 9 rebounds, 2.3 blocks, 51% shooting. Clyde 17.4 points, KJ 28 a game, over 9 assists, 58% shooting. Barkley 22 and 13. So devastated was Chuck that he announced his retirement after the series, but later changed his mind. Lakers Spurs 1999. One of these two teams would eventually make 11 of the next 12 finals. The Lakers preseason favorites at plus 300, while the Blazers in 98 lost to these same Lakers a year earlier in round 1. Although LA and Portland might have been an epic series, the Blazers didn't have Scottie Pippen yet. They were clearly better in 2000. New additions for San Antonio: Mario Elie, Steve Kerr, Antonio Daniels, and Jerome Kersey. Robinson fully took a backseat to MVP candidate Tim Duncan. Spurs were clearly the best team all season long after a 6-8 start, won 46 of his last 53 games, including a 15-2 playoff run. Miami lost to New York in round 1. Before the season started, it would have made the most sense if a superstar like Shaq was going to take over the league for a few years, winning multiple titles, but sophomore sensation Tim Duncan said, wait a minute. After O'Neal held to 6 of 19 in Game 1, Duncan 25.6 blocks, Kobe averaged 20 in the regular season, but wasn't quite a true superstar yet, had flashes though, showed up in Game 2, scored 28 of the Lakers' 76, Shaq acquired 16, while Duncan dropped 21, hit the go-ahead game winner over J.R. Reed, who he torched all series. Back to the Forum, it was supposed to be O'Neal's time to take over, but Duncan continued his excellence, a masterful 37.14 rebound performance, Jarrett Jackson 22 off the bench, O'Neal only 22 in the 103-91 Spurs win. Duncan picked up where he left off to close out Game 4, 33 points, 14 boards, 11 of 14 from the field, Shaq 36 and 14 too late. If this was the real final series, would have been talked about even more. Duncan's 29-point average, ridiculous in a season where the league average was held to under 92 a game. Spurs went on to sweep Portland and finish off New York in 5, a 15-2 postseason run. 2003 Lakers Spurs. Once again, super fitting that both these dynasty franchises met in round 2. The previous season, Sacramento, considered the best team, met LA in the conference finals, which was the real NBA finals. While San Antonio wasn't quite as talented, LA beat them in 5 in the 0-2 semis. While the Lakers looked to four-peat, Kobe and Shaq duo unstoppable, especially with O'Neal still 31 years old. Kobe was getting better. Lots of drama happened, alongside Shaq electing to get surgery, the start of training camp, missed the beginning of the season. Duncan earned his second straight MVP, while Dallas and Sacramento, two of the most loaded teams, had playoff injuries. Webber tore his ACL in the semis, Dirk hurt his knee in Game 3 of the conference finals, while the Nets had no real shot against any of the real contenders in the West. LA swept that Nets team the season before in those finals. Robert Horry had to play heavy minutes due to Shaq's absence early on and faded during the playoffs. Big Shot Bob became No Shot Rob in the series. Went 0 of freaking 18 from deep, averaged an awful 4.3 points, 26% shooting. Both teams relied heavily on their superstars. Duncan's 28-point Game 1 edged out Kobe and Shaq's combined 61. Lakers 4 bench points, while Bruce Bowen stepped up Game 2, 27 big points, plus Tony Parker 36. Parker Ginobili came alive. but Kobe and Shaq of course responded the third game, Bryant's 39 over Duncan's 28, while the Spurs had to depend too heavily on Duncan game 4, 36 big points. Kobe, Shaq, and Fisher scored 81 of LA's 99 to even the series. Parker bowled out in game 5, helped propel San Antonio to a 25-point lead. Duncan's 27 and 14, Kobe's 36 nearly brought the Lakers back. Ori had a chance to win it in the final seconds. Shot went halfway down and out. Spurs survived up 3-2 in LA. Duncan went bananas, a 37 point, 16 rebounds, 16 of 25 shooting. Parker 27 of his own, poured it on late third and the entire fourth. Timmy D 28 a game that series, 12 rebounds, 5 assists. Parker 15, Ginobili and Bowen over 11, Kobe over 32, Shaq 25 and 14, Fisher 10. Lakers the 2 star powers, but San Antonio a more balanced supporting cast. This series 100 times more interesting than Spurs Nets, which drew the all-time worst finals rating until 2020 happened. 2007 Spurs Suns 2 powerhouse is an absolute travesty. Both these teams had to meet in the semis since the 67-win Mavs were upset by Golden State. Warriors Jazz, 2 unexpectedly good teams in one series, the other Spurs Suns 58 and 61 wins respectively, while the Eastern Conference had the 50-win Cavs versus the 41-win Nets, 53-win Pistons versus the 49-win Bulls. The West 100 times better than the weak East. San Antonio 5 more regular season wins than the first-seeded Pistons in a way better conference. This was the real championship when the series got underway. Everybody knew it too. The next few rounds were going to be a cakewalk for whichever team was to advance, knowing it wouldn't last more than 5 games. Phoenix had a 17-game win streak at one point in the regular season. Nash was second in MVP, while Ginobili and Parker continued to get better, played a bigger role. Game 1 went down just like Game 1 of 2 years ago between these two. This time, Nash had a bloody nose, couldn't play in important moments. Marion didn't have an answer for Duncan's 33 and 16, Parker 32 of his own, Nash had 31, followed by 20 points, 16 dimes. Game 2, Amari 27 for a 20-point blowout. The third game favored San Antonio. Tim Donaghy ref. There were plenty of calls in favor of the Spurs. Phoenix had an early lead, but Amari picked up his 4th foul a minute into the third.
See it. Donaghy perhaps giving Willard a chance to make the call. He didn't, but it didn't look like there was much there. No. Ball down the other end.
Well, let's see if Duncan gets it. I mean, that's a foul.
Yeah.
He reaches right over the cross of his shoulder.
Offensive foul.
Duncan still finished with 33 and 19, Amari 21 in 21 minutes. Although Game 3 gave the Spurs a heavy advantage, Game 4 was a San Antonio style paced game. Phoenix down 8 entering the 4th, climbed back in the final minutes. Nash 24 points, 15 assists, Amari 26 big points, Duncan 21 and 11, Parker 23. As Phoenix was gaining momentum for the series, the moment we all remember, Robert Horry's hip check sent Nash to the scores table. Absolutely dirty play. Amari and Boris Diaw got up from the bench but didn't really do anything. Broke the NBA rule, forced to be suspended for a pivotal Game 5. An absolute travesty of a moment. In a critical game like this, pretty much for the championship, it was San Antonio causing harm to the Suns superstar, and 2 other Suns had to get punished for that, one of whom an All-NBA first teamer in Stoudemire. If you see your teammate get laid out by a bigger guy from an intentional cheap shot, the first thing you do is see if your teammate's alright. Phoenix super short-handed Game 5. A 34-year-old Kurt Thomas played 36 minutes, 7 players available, all the guys were drained in the 4th. San Antonio 3-point win to nobody's surprise. Spurs went on a run the 3rd quarter of Game 6. Duncan, a master at the closeout, had 24, 13, and 9 blocks. Ginobili 33, Parker 30, overwhelmed Amari's 38 and 12. The following 2 series, a young Utah team and a young Cavs team, easy W's for San Antonio, winning its franchise's 4th title. 2019 Philadelphia, Toronto. I mentioned this since KD got hurt in the 2019 semis and was never healthy enough to play or return in the finals anyway. If the duo of Simmons and Embiid never wins a ring together, looking back at this loaded lineup of Simmons, Redick, Butler, Harris, and Embiid, loaded in every position, Jimmy the following season shocked the world, leading Miami to the finals. Kawhi played one of his best basketball ever, a 45-point masterpiece Game 1. Butler, Harris, and Embiid combined 40. Philly stole Game 2 thanks to Jimmy's 30. Kawhi still dropped 35, while Gasol and Danny Green won a combined 2 of 14. Embiid 33 Game 3, Leonard 33 as well, while Kawhi came up clutch in Game 4. 39 big points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists. Gasol the second leading scorer with 16, Butler 29, and Embiid just 11, while the Raptors 36-point blowout Game 5 win, Embiid a plus 40 in the 6th game, Butler 25 tied the series. Before the very defensive Game 7, it was Leonard and Ibaka doing the scoring for Toronto. Kawhi's 41 big points on 39 shots needed to shoot since the starters looked nervous. Danny Green 1 basket, Larry and Siakam 8 of 24 combined. Butler held to 5 of 14 shooting and beat 6 of 18. Excellent defense throughout. If Kawhi's shot doesn't go in, which decided the championship in a way, since Coach Bud doesn't play Giannis enough in the postseason and Bledsoe disappears in the playoffs every time. Middleton and Tobias were neck and neck. I believe the Sixers would have beaten the Bucks and went on to beat a hobbled Golden State team without Durant and already a banged up Klay Thompson. Of course, if KD were healthy, nobody was beating the Warriors, but this was the series right in the East semis that ultimately helped Toronto win its first title, the toughest earned win for the Raptors. Thank you so much for watching this video. Which one of these series was your favorite? Let me know in the comments below. I talk NBA comparisons, amazing storylines, NBA history, anything basketball that will interest you. So if you love NBA basketball, subscribe for more content. Once again, I appreciate and love all of you. See you next time.